All right, here we go. 10th video for this series of 2025 free agent offensive guards for the Miami Dolphins. Again, last part important there because this is not a big board of NFL offensive guards. This is my rankings of how I feel like these players could fit into the Dolphins specifically. The rankings of the players that we've done videos on so far are on the screen now. And as a reminder, we are going to look at plays that are short yardage run plays. That's 1 to 2 yards to go because I feel that if a player can do well in those scenarios, that they're also going to succeed in the regular every down type stuff, including pass protection. If you have the balance and the technique to succeed in short yardage run plays, that's probably going to carry over to your pass protection as well. These are not going to be all good plays, not all bad plays. Just tried to pull some that I felt were relevant to talk about on here. So the number of plays is also not going to be the same for every player. The way that we're going to go through them is going to be, basically chronological order of the plays throughout the season. And lastly, these are not the only plays that I have personally watched when forming my opinion on these players. I've watched more for all of these that factor into the ranking that we'll discuss as we get into the end of this video. So, rounding out our first 10 free agent guard previews is Greg Van Roten. And Van Roten is a player that many Dolphins fans, myself included, felt could be a good late free agency addition at the guard position for the Dolphins. He ultimately ended up with the New York Giants. So as we get into the film review for Van Roten here, he's going to be your right guard, number 74. And on this play, we're getting a duo look, so similar to inside zone, but the players are stepping to the linemen are stepping to the right, and the aiming point is to the left. So for Van Roten here, we're going to get a combination block between the two of them to the linebacker on this side. And you can see this is John Michael Schmitz is the center here. And would have liked to see a little better movement off the snap from those two, but Van Roten does a good job of coming off that block and taking care of the linebacker as he's declaring to that B gap. Next play for Van Roten facing you now. Oh, he is right here. Love those uniforms. Um, so on this play, now we're getting more of a inside zone look. Right now, everybody is stepping to the right side for the most part, except for our combination blocks, and the back is going to attack to the right side there as well. And the combination over here really don't have a linebacker to combo on this side. So the combination block was more left guard, left tackle, up to number 54. And, with that in mind, we've got more of a, and Van Roten comes off late there, right? Because that linebacker, Bobby Wagner, is scraping over. But really, you know, when you're looking at the pre-snap reads here with no linebacker that they're really looking to for the combo block, like we've really got to have these two guys getting off the ball and kicking ass here and moving this guy out of the way. And that's just not really what we end up getting here. They both get in there, fit in there decent, but don't get a lot of movement at the point of attack there. So now he's got back to you still on the right side here. Daniel Jones trying to get guys in place. And we're getting more inside zone stuff here. So this is going to be the combo block here is John Michael Schmitz and Van Roten on this defensive tackle to that linebacker. Would have liked to see, Schmitz stay a little longer on this combination block, but still a good job by Van Roten here of taking over that block and getting a little bit of a vertical push there. I think the running back I don't like the way that he read this, although, looking at how the guard over here, the defender crossed his face, I kind of understand. Had we gotten a better job there, right, that lane is forming here. So, kind of looks bad for Van Roten because his guy makes the play, but really, like, when he's got that leverage there, the idea is that Van Roten is going to continue to work to that left side, and he's not expecting the running back to go over here to the right. So this is still a play that I would grade as a positive play for Van Roten, even though his guy ultimately made that tackle. Facing you now, still against the Panthers, right side. Right now we're getting inside zone to the left. And we're getting the combo up to number 47 here. And, doesn't necessarily look like a combo off the snap there. Looks like they're going more, probably there's a call that the center has, and I can't remember it off the top of my head. But basically where the center is saying that he's got the linebacker no matter what, it turns into solo blocking. And that looks like what's happening here. And then the, you know, kind of delayed, I don't want to say blitz, but run fit by the linebacker there is taking him to the other side. So again, based on the way that this is developing off of the snap, I feel like this is more poor communication and scheme than it is poor by Van Roten because he, the center is getting off the ball and getting to that linebacker. Van Roten is getting, head into the chest of that defender, and he looks like he is solo blocking that the whole way, and he's doing a solid job with it. And then, late realizes that linebacker is coming over. So, not going to put this on a highlight reel, right? But again, looking at this with Van Roten's defender, if you're calling that linebacker his defender making the play, I don't agree with that, and I would not, mark this as a major negative on Van Roten. All right, enough rambling on that play. Let's keep going here. So now we're getting inside zone again, and again combo, right, up to the linebacker here. And I really like the way that Van Roten gets into his position. He takes his half a man, and then he's just kind of patient, letting the tackle get there to take over before he leaves late. And obviously misses the linebacker there. Would like to see a little better job in that regard. But, we've looked at some of the previous guards and the way that these combo blocks end early because somebody's leaving early. So I feel like this is a good rep by Van Roten in terms of being patient to leave before trying to get to that linebacker and letting that tackle take over the block. Facing you again over here. So this is going to be inside zone to the left. Right, again, don't really have a linebacker here, so this is more of a true double team. When you look at your covered and uncovered rules, there's nobody directly over Van Roten. There's no linebacker to combo, so this is turning into a true double team here. And does a good job, right? John Michael Schmidt's taking half his man, like we talked about before, and Van Roten is taking his half and blowing him over. So that's definitely a good rep in short yardage of a true double team. Facing you again, right? Inside zone again. Not as good of a rep here. So, gets off the ball, gets the hands inside, good position here. Again, we talked about this defender wants to stay to the outside. That's fine, right? The key here is that once he makes his decision, it is the offensive lineman's job to make sure he sticks with that decision. And that's what we end up not getting here, right? Good job by that defender with that forklift technique to get under that elbow and press it off of there. And then he's able to get in there and make that tackle. So, not the best inside zone technique here or execution from Van Roten. Now we're getting into a goal line situation against the Ravens again. And again, some inside zone and same idea. Well, not really. Not giving the running back a good read here of which way to go. In that one technique, defensive tackle does a good job of getting that long arm and being able to shed and get in on that tackle. So I don't know. Hard to blame the back for the read here because there's not really a clear read from the guard. I get why he's going to the backside there, but definitely need better from Van Roten here in terms of not letting that defender get his hands inside and press him out of there. And then last one for Van Roten here. So this is going to be outside zone to the right. And obviously we haven't seen a lot of this. Um, and we've talked about the different techniques that teams use in terms of coaching this. I prefer where they're really turning and running versus the shuffle type step that we're getting here from Van Roten. But it's very possible that is what they want them to do because you're seeing pretty much everybody do that same thing. But this is another situation where we're not really giving the running back a great read. When we're going outside zone, if that guy wants to declare the outside, then you really want to see more movement there. And I mean, ultimately, wasn't an awful block here. John Michael Schmidt's getting, push pull there is a bigger issue than Van Roten, but we're talking about guys that can hopefully make a difference in the run game. This is kind of more your average or bottom five type block as opposed to, the guy that's really going to make a difference. All right, so let's come back over here and figure out where we want to put him in our top 10. So as we look here, not going to go anywhere in this top 6, right? So now the question really becomes, I think he's better than James Daniels. Daniels is more athletic, but I've expressed my issues with his lack of power. So I have a little bit of a hard time going with Daniels, and Becton I feel has too many ugly losses, some leverage issues. So we're basically looking at the Will Hernandez range here, and it comes down to while I do feel that Van Roten is a better fit in this offense, I don't know that he has enough athleticism to overshadow or have an advantage over the power that Hernandez has. And with the limited reps of outside zone, I can't sit here and say that Van Roten is a perfect fit for the Dolphins offense either. So again, even money, I would put Van Roten just below Will Hernandez, but I think there's definitely a solid conversation to be had between 6, 7, and 8 here. Just one more reminder, not looking at projected contracts, not looking at the background of the players, and we're not looking at injury status in terms of these rankings, right? We're rounding out the top 10 here, and these guys in order are the guys that I feel best fit the Dolphins scheme. And we're going to continue to look at these guys going forward. We're going to see some of these guys start to fall out of the top 10 and not be on this slide. But here we are. We've completed the top 10. Appreciate you guys sticking with me, and we'll do more of it again soon.